Hello everyone, it's Emma and welcome back to my channel. I filmed this entire video yesterday and I realized I did not have the microphone on. So here we are again. I'm going to try to give you the expedited version. Some channel updates and how I see this channel evolving in the next eternity. Oh, first, welcome to my new home. It's a little chaotic right now, so don't mind the mess if you see the mess. I'm gonna leave a full playlist linked up here about me, different Q&As and other videos about why I started the channel and everything, but I'm gonna give you a quick version in case you don't have time to watch those. So pretty much, I grew up in the same small town in Ohio for literally up until I was an adult, and the town was only 2,000 people. And I bring this up because in that small town, it's hard to see how much waste you actually produce as an individual, where that waste goes, and then how your actions actually impact people around the world. So it wasn't until I moved to Texas in 2017, wow, I started to see how much waste we were actually creating. So I moved into a much bigger town. I was like maybe 100, 200,000 people. And it was there that I saw how much of our waste, plastic, glass, metal, actually recyclable good materials, ends up in the trash. So that was when my first bit of activism started. I started a recycling program, and that was that. That was pretty much all I did in Texas. And then I moved to Okinawa, Japan, this little tiny island off the southernmost point of Japan. And that's when it really kind of hit me that, wow, I can do all that I can to throw away my trash properly, recycle properly, do beach cleanups, but none of that really matters if I'm still contributing to that waste problem. So that's when I really started to get into zero waste and things like quit using plastic water bottles, quit using plastic bags, the baby steps, of course. And then it just grew over the 3 years that I lived there. And then that's kind of when the channel was born too. About 2 years ago was when I started my blog, and then about a year and a half was when I started my YouTube channel, because I was like, I'm learning so much from my own experiences and my own research that I want to share this with others. So I did. And then just recently, about a month ago, I moved to Las Vegas. I had lived in Japan for 3 years. Japan's not perfect when it comes to waste management. I just made a video about eco things Japan does right. Japan is a lot better about their waste management than the US is, so it was quite the shock when I moved back to the US, especially a big city like Las Vegas has over 2 million people, the biggest city I've ever lived in by far. There's trash everywhere. I see people littering, like no one takes responsibility for their action, as well as we are in the middle of a very, very bad drought here in Vegas, and so the effects of climate change have just been really hitting me hard over the last few months. I was like, wow, me sitting here on the internet telling people which laundry detergent to buy is not going to save the planet. And that's just kind of what hit me. As well as I started, for Plastic Free July, I started writing a letter every single day for the whole month of July. This was inspired by my friend Coco. I'll leave her channel linked above. She started this Letters for Change campaign. And it's pretty much where you just write one letter a day to someone in your government, a business, a corporation, your city, and so forth, to try to get positive change made for the environment. And that really, really empowered me, honestly, and realizing how easy it is and also how empowering it makes you feel. And it's like, wow, people will listen to you. Not everyone, and that can be discouraging, but people do listen. That's where I kind of am now, and that I want to take this channel to the next step. So if you're not new here, or if you are new here, the foundation of my channel is making zero waste free, easy, and fun for everyone. I want zero waste to be accessible, and I want to prove that you don't need a bunch of swaps and spend a bunch of money, and you don't have to take a bunch of time out of your day to just be a little bit more sustainable. And while I'm still gonna focus on that, because that is so important, especially gearing that towards wasteful Americans, to be honest, I want to take that a step further and make it more geared toward activism. And I think that still falls into my 3 pillars of my channel, because the letter writing campaign I've been doing for July has been free. I just take 5 minutes out of my day to write a letter. It's been easy. Like I said, it only takes less than 5 minutes to write a letter. It's not necessarily fun because some conversations I have with these people are discouraging, but like I said, it is empowering. So I'm gonna do this today because I know it's gonna make a difference, type of thing. That's the direction I'm trying to go in. I still want to do my Free Waste to Live Low Waste series. I think that's important. I think brand reviews are still important because a lot of brands we typically support are wasteful. But I want to do more calling out brands, calling out politicians, and then more activism. So stuff like letter writing. And something else I want to do, now that I'm in a country that I speak the language fluently, I want to do more stuff like touring recycling facilities, talking to people firsthand, doing interviews, with local businesses, maybe even like my neighbors, like how do you feel about climate change? I want to do more stuff like that, and not so much sitting here in my room being like, you should buy this water bottle because it's going to save the planet. And don't get me wrong, I still think our small individual actions make a really big impact. Like that's my outro quote, but I don't think it's going to save the planet. And that's why I want to change my content just a little bit. I want it to be more meaningful. I was writing to one of my politicians in Ohio, and this person said that they did not believe in climate change, that they're not going to support something that science does not back. And I was just mind blown. Like, what do you mean? The science it's proven. And it just hit me that there's people out there who still think that. And with scientists predicting 2050, maybe even 2040, like only 20 to 30 years left, it really like hit me like, wow. I have 2 nieces who are 2 and 4. They're only going to be 20 to 30 years old, and they might not have access to clean water anymore. I will only be 50 years old, approximately, younger than my parents, and I might not have access to clean water anymore. We might not have enough food to eat, and that terrifies me. And so a video I'm going to make in the future is how to deal with climate anxiety, but that's what kind of hit me. I had that thought the other day writing to my politicians, and I'm like, wow, I need to do more in terms of my activism. And that, like, yes, I still think that not using plastic bags, not using plastic water bottles is still a form of activism. It's still really important, but I need to do more, and I want to help educate you all on how you can do more as well. So some things I have planned moving forward are, like I said, how to deal with eco-anxiety, how to write meaningful, impactful letters. But for the time being, Coco already has a video about that if you want to watch her video. And then I want to start focusing more on climate change related issues and not so much zero waste. I'm sorry, this is all over the place. It was much better yesterday, but there's no volume. So if you want to follow me more on my day-to-day, I post on my Instagram stories regularly. I post on TikTok regularly. It's more personal and more frequent. And here's going to be like the more long-form, formal type content. For the time being, I'm still only going to be doing 1 video a week. And that's because I started doing that because we moved. I didn't have time to prepare like 48 videos in advance. And 2, Dan and I have a channel. So quick plug for our channel. It's always linked in the description box of every video. That's where we post our adventures. Why? Why do you waste your time making content like that? And that's because I love looking back on it. It's so fun to see all of the adventures we had in Japan, and then one day I'll be able to look back on all the adventures we had in Vegas, as well as it's kind of my creative outlet. It allows me to play with videos more with music, sound effects, videography, and not so much, hey, I'm sitting in a room talking to a camera. So I'm still gonna continue with that. So that's why I'm doing only 1 video here per week. I would love to get back to 2 because there's so much content I want to put out, because I still do have a regular job for now, for 2 years. I have a contract, so I can't quit. Welcome. If you're new here, what a weird video for YouTube to give you, but welcome. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you want to hear all sorts of things. Free, easy, and fun, zero waste, and now activism. Let's all become climate activists. Final thoughts, closing comments, is that a lot of people think that to be an environmentalist, to be an activist, you have to be like out there on the street, you have to have like a doctorate in science or something. No. Literally the definition of environmentalist is just someone who cares about the planet. And I don't know what the definition of activism is, but there's different levels of activism. Of course, going out, rallies, marches, strikes, that's activism, but that's like this extreme of activism. Over here, simple things like educating yourself, educating others, and then like going against the societal norms, like using your own grocery bag, that's activism too. So I'm gonna cover all sorts of things in the spectrum, I think. Definitely more on this half, because going to rallies and strikes still kind of intimidates me, maybe one day. But stuff in the middle, like writing letters, going and doing interviews, just telling people what kind of changes we want to see. Because it's really kind of terrifying to just leave our world into the hands of our politicians. But they're in office because of us. We voted for them, and if we didn't vote for them, they're still our politicians, so we need to voice our concerns. Whether they listen or not, at least we can put there's that spark in their brain. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your time, and I hope to see you around the channel some more. My content isn't really changing, it's evolving, so don't be sad if you subscribe to my old content. That's still gonna stick around. I have some more upbeat, fun stuff planned, like what I've thrifted for my new home. I've got a laundry review, a sunscreen review, some really fun stuff coming up still. So don't forget to like this video if you liked it, and if you want to comment something, like maybe you have a video idea you'd like to see, definitely leave it below. I would love to research it and talk about the stuff that you guys are interested in, because ultimately this channel is for you guys. Thanks for watching, and until next time, remember that the small changes you make do have a big impact in the long run. Bye guys. I grew up in the same small town in Ohio for 2,000 years, full of just sustainable living, and that's what I want to. Where am I going? Why did I start talking about this? What am I saying?